Why can't they give him the respect? They can't because they got to hate everything he do because he's embarrassed so many of them.
So Trump has been in power for just a month, and he already gave himself a promotion. Doesn't it feel like 10 years?
Yes.
He posted "Long Live the King" on social media, and the White House mucked up a Face magazine cover with him wearing a crown. See that?
I have something to say about this "Long Live the King." It's very interesting. Political commentator and journalist Ezra Klein, and what he said is that Trump has never really wanted to be president. He actually has always wanted to be king. Also says that his plan.
Pause. He always wanted to be king of what? Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to Navarro. Now, I want some of you guys who were listening to the live earlier, so you kind of saw the preface. I'm just going to touch on it a little bit. Donald Trump is killing it, right? I mean, he's doing his thing, just like we expected him to do, just like we voted for him to do. And people are upset. Trump may have made a reference to saying he's the king or the king is back or something like that, and the cackling hens can't handle it. Most people on the left are so deranged. Instead of saying, you know what, I don't like the guy, but he's doing a good job. I don't like the guy, but I'm going to let him be the president and let me judge once the man has been in office more than 24 hours. Why can't they give him the respect? They can't because they got to hate everything he do because he's embarrassed so many of them. They said he wasn't going to get elected. They said he was going to prison. He was a criminal. They mocked him. They laughed at him. And now he's your president. The king is here. The king is here. Donald Trump called himself the king. And people are mad. I want y'all to take a look at this real quick because I think it's incredibly important. You have to be aware of how things are being framed in the media and in the news apparatus. And here is a perfect example. When you look at them claiming that Donald Trump dubbed himself as the king, which I think he was trolling, and now that's all they're talking about, which is absolutely asinine that they're not smart enough at this point. But you can look at it. Look at on the left. Trump likens himself to a king after after axing the NYC congestion prices, which is the congestion tax. Donald Trump cuts New York City's toll and apparently compares with the king. All of these are coming from a perspective, in my opinion, of negativity towards his phrasing. Then you look at what's going on the conservative side and it says Trump brands himself king after removing daily cost for drivers in New York. You can see already that conservatives are saying that he's dubbing himself as king after he has done something that affect the people of New York in an incredibly positive way. But you can go down and see for yourself what the articles are. And if you're interested in reading them to be more informed, I would suggest you go left, read a few, right, read a few, and go down the center and read a few so you're informed to the utmost degree. As you can see, there's about 60 articles. Most of the people who are writing about this is on the left, very minimal in the middle. Obviously, you can see where it's trending bias, 51% to the left. But I want to tell you guys about another thing, and this is why I like Ground.News. If you go to the blind spot, you will also see things that I think are very important for you to understand and to be aware of. These are things on the left. The right is talking about this, but the left isn't paying attention. These are things on this side that the left is talking about that the right isn't paying attention. Let's give an example. Pro-life leaders urge Trump to reconsider his IVF stance, citing ethical concerns. The right is talking about it. The left isn't paying attention. Here's something that the right should be paying attention to. U.S. and Ukraine discuss improved minerals deal. That's something that we should be paying attention to on the right. It goes on and so forth of many different articles. Like this one right here. Doge finds $2 billion in taxpayer funds earmarked for Stacey Abrams linked group. The left don't want their people to know about this. We all over it. So just go down this list and look at these things so you can be incredibly informed. Subscribe through my link at ground.news/Tatum or download the app, the mobile app, and use offer code Tatum for 40% off the Vantage plan, which is the exact same plan that I use for unlimited access. All right, let's play the clip because they go to range and full R word over Donald Trump making reference to being the king. Roll the clip.
So Trump has been in power for just a month, and he already gave himself a promotion. Doesn't it feel like 10 years?
Yes.
He posted "Long Live the King" on social media, and the White House mucked up a Face magazine cover with him wearing a crown. See that? Yeah, he's the Lion King.
Oh, like Lion Ted.
Please, if he's king, I'm Queen Beatrice of the Netherlands, okay? He also admitted what life would have been like if he hadn't run for president again. It would have been so sad for him. Watch.
I had to make a big decision, and it was a very risky decision because if I would have lost, my life would have been a much different life. It would have been a very nasty life. They were going after me at levels that nobody's ever seen before. I had to make a decision, do I do this? Because if I lost, it would have been very, very bad. It was dangerous, actually, very dangerous in so many different ways.
So he said he says he would have had a hard life if he wasn't elected, and now we all have a hard life because he was.
Yeah.
Where? Give me an example. One example.
But I ask you, Sonny, did winning the election save him from going to prison?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah?
He was convicted of 34 counts here in New York. There is no power, pardon power for a state conviction. And there is for a federal conviction.
Well, he could have pardoned himself.
He could have tried to not for state. Even the president can't do that.
Right.
But I will say, I mean, his sentencing was coming up, and then he won, and it all went away. And he had 3 other cases that were pending. Jack Smith had to drop them because he was going to fire Jack Smith anyway. So Jack Smith dropped them, who was the federal prosecutor responsible for really the election interference case in January 6th. Those were, I thought, very meaty and robust cases. And he avoided it all.
But
and
that
now he is.
doesn't sound fair to me. That doesn't sound American to me, Alyssa. If the person gets all the charges dropped from the guy just because he wins an election, is that American?
I could argue that the precedent of imprisoning a president of the United States and sentencing them when they're a sitting president would be dangerous and complicated to do, or you can have Secret Service with him in jail. I mean, there's just a lot of things. It would just be completely unprecedented.
It's DOJ policy not to indict or imprison a sitting president.
What if it was a Democrat?
I would feel the same
It's
way.
still DOJ policy.
Yeah.
It is still DOJ policy. I think it would be very difficult. But, you know, I have something to say about this Long Live the King. It's very interesting. Political commentator and journalist Ezra Klein, I talked about him last week. He wrote in the New York Times, he's excellent, don't believe Trump.
Yeah.
And what he said is that Trump has never really wanted to be president. He actually has always wanted to be king. And he also says that his plan...
Pause it. He always wanted to be king? Of what? What the kings don't, there's no process or position as king in the United States of America. The most powerful person in the world is the United States president, not some king somewhere. What country has more power than we do? The richest man in the world, one of the richest men in the world, I mean, on paper, Elon Musk is not a king. Look at how much power and influence we have. Who is trying to be a king? There is no system in place that a king ranks higher than the president of the United States of America when it comes to influence, power, and control over the entire world. Our commander-in-chief is the biggest dog in the entire world. Roll it.
Time is to first play king on television. And if we believe he is already king, we will be likelier to let him govern as a king. So don't believe him. Because right now what we're seeing is he's waving his scepter, his king scepter. Yeah. Congestion pricing is gone.
Right.
He's waving his scepter.
Although I'm pro-congestion pricing being gone, and Whoopi would agree with me.
Well, I don't know. I feel like my drive-in has been a little bit easier and smoother. But, you know, he's waving the scepter around, and people seem to think that things are happening by executive order. And I think that is his plan. He wants to run for a 3rd term.
Well, frankly, I think I think Elon Musk is king, and he's much more of a court jester.
Possible.
But
Hold on.
look,
Make your mind up. Make your mind up, sis. Either Trump, see, this is how they lose. And I'm glad that they're doing this because the rational people can see how stupid they are. The only reason I review the View as much as I do, because some of y'all family members are just as stupid as these people. So then, therefore, you can see their arguments and their arguments can be debunked. But out of one side of their mouth, they say, Elon Musk is actually in control. Donald Trump is not even in control. Look what Elon Musk is doing. Elon Musk, President Musk, they do all this. And now when Trump make mention of a king, now he wants to be the king. Which one is he? Is he the king or he is beneath Elon Musk? Which one is it? You got to make your mind up, and none of it makes sense. Donald Trump ain't trying to go for a 3rd term. Why? He's old. I think he's struggling just to do this one. He want to get this out of the way. He's just trying to make America great so he can go and peacefully go on to meet Jesus at some point. I don't think this man trying to live or be the president for another 8 years. I think he wouldn't even be the president now if our country didn't suck and we had an old dead man as the president. Roll it.
I think what he did with this king, calling himself a king, is he's trolling the opposition, and he is distracting us, distracting the media, so that we don't talk about the nuclear scientists who were accidentally fired,
Right.
so that we don't talk about the bird flu experts that were accidentally fired, so that we don't talk about the 9/11 survivors who are going to lose their benefits, so that we don't talk about the price of eggs that is through the roof that he had promised to slash on day one, so that we don't talk about Jocelyn Carrasco, the 11-year-old girl in Texas who died by suicide because she was being bullied at her school, 11 years old. She was being bullied by being told that her parents were going to be taken away by ICE. She was being terrorized by others. We need to create safe spaces for the children of immigrants, for the immigrant children, so that they can go to school without being the victims of this kind of terror.
Look at this woke.
And I am going to continue talking about
Hold on a second. First of all, you should have been crying when that broad didn't get her papers right and she been here for 20 years. Y'all should have been crying over that. Don't give me that she committed. There's kids in this country right now are ending their life during COVID and all kind of stuff. And y'all ignorant women didn't say nothing about it. Now you got a talking point because people are getting deported. Her mama didn't give up about her, did she? She'd have got her papers together. You the one brought the kid over here. You the one did this. Is she getting bullied at school? What is her parents doing? Don't give me that. My kid took their life because they were getting bullied. Man, to be honest, for most of y'all, if your kid is getting bullied and taking their life, it's your fault. I just want you to realize it is your fault as the parent. How is your kid in a situation where they cannot handle critique or ridicule from other kids? And why are you not a safe place for them when they do get ridiculed, for you to lift them up and give them confidence? What are you doing that your kid have nobody to go to? So at 11, because they're getting bullied, not because mama got deported, not because something happened, and I put my life on it, that it wasn't just that. I will put my life on it that it wasn't just that. I don't doubt a kid that's saying, your parents gonna get deported. Ha, 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 ha. What school you go to? I bet you $1 million if you are an illegal alien and you go into a particular school, it's probably a bunch of other Hispanics that go to that school. So the camera, don't worry about the camera. We'll fix it here in a second. If it go off again, we'll fix it. If you are going to a school and you're an illegal alien, your parents are illegal, it's a good chance that you live in a community where there's a bunch of other Hispanic people. So don't give me that crap of, you getting bullied. By who? Other Hispanics? It's asinine to me that they project that. And this little girl probably had her suicidal attempt or her suicide had probably had nothing to do with deportation. It may have been, or not nothing to do. It wasn't the primary issue. No kid is somebody mocking them and they're going to go do that. Most of the time, they've been doing it for a while, and they've been doing it for a reason, and the person has insecurities, and parents don't give them any kind of courage, and then they go and do that, and they want to play the victim. No, that's the kid is the victim, the parents are the problem. Roll the clip.
That's what this is about.
I'm surprised Trump remembered what Time magazine is, because a few weeks ago, Elon Musk was on it, and he was quoted as saying, does anyone read Time? Where's Time magazine? And then here we are with a fake cover, which he's also decorated Mar-a-Lago with some fake covers.
He says the quiet price.
I know.
Quiet
I make
peace
them
out
up with my
loud.
own cover for my hallway, too, because I didn't know you could do that. But I also think the fact that he's calling himself a king is not surprising, shocking, anything, because he's been acting like a king the whole time. He told us he'd be a dictator for his first day only, but that's because he also knew then he'd just become a king. So
that's what he wants.
Same messaging there.
Yeah.
But I agree with Anna on this, that I think this is such an easy thing to be like, oh my God, he said it himself. This is a huge deal. This is the same thing he said. The Constitution is inconvenient for him. He's talked about the courts don't have, J.D. Vance went out and tweeted a week ago, the courts can't even overstep the executive branch. Like, a lot of things have been said, and this is a clear reflection of all that, but I think it is to distract from a lot of the things we're seeing right now, the haphazard and loose way.
Where is the Republican Party?
They're the ones on this.
They're starting to.
Where is the Republican Party is what I want to know.
They're starting to get upset.
Who can step up and stop this nonsense.
So just a couple of things. as a fact check, America does not have a king. Donald Trump is not a king. Ukraine is not run by a dictator. It is run by the duly elected President Zelensky.
Who did not invade themselves, by the way.
Who did not invade themselves and has a 57% approval rating with his own people. But I'll say this, I would really caution Trump world against over-interpreting the endorsement of him winning to mean that he can just do anything and he can throw decades of what the GOP and the country have stood for out the window.
Don't people say that he has a mandate?
He has, so he does have a historically high approval rating with the Republican Party right now, but it's already dropping in his first month in office by nearly 7 points. If he treats our allies worse than our enemies, that is going to backfire even with his own party, but broadly with the country. If he doesn't address the things he was elected to do, the cost of living, and instead puts in place trade wars that rise the cost of living, that is going to backfire. And finally, if he comes after things like birthright citizenship, where there are voters who voted for him in this country, who support him, who are citizens because of birthright citizenship, it will backfire. So I just would caution him and those around him of thinking that they have this sweeping endorsement to do anything that they want. There are guardrails in place.
And
the American public
the
will reject
Republicans
it.
in Congress to step up and do their job.
Susan Collins.
Stop kissing his butt.
All right. We had our dose of stupidity. Let's go on to Kathy Hochul, who's another dumb, ignorant, insane woman. Anyway, I could just go on and rant about these people, but roll the clip.
At 1:01 p.m. today, the U.S. Department of Transportation emailed us a letter from Secretary Duffy announcing their attempt to end the congestion pricing program in the state of New York. At 1:58 p.m., President Donald Trump tweeted, "Long live the king." I'm here to say New York hasn't labored under a king in over 250 years. And we sure as hell are not going to start now. The streets of this city where battles were fought, we stood up to a king. And we won then. And we will. In case you don't know, New Yorkers, when we're in a fight, we do not back down. Not now, not ever.
So I wanna look up this congestion tax, because they are cheering and mad at Donald Trump because he's claiming that he's going to get rid of the congestion tax. Let me see if we have some of that. The chair and CEO highlighting the program's success in reducing congestion and improving travel times. Let's see, what is the congestion tax? Program background. It says initiated in January the 5th, 2025, the congestion price program charged drivers $9 to enter Manhattan south of 60th Street, aiming to reduce traffic and fund massive transition or transit improvements. So if you enter into Manhattan, they charge you $9. So let me get this right. Are they trying to price you out of going to Manhattan? Because if you can't afford to go to Manhattan by utilizing or paying that $9 every time you go to Manhattan, it's supposed to reduce traffic, and then they use that money to build stuff? That's stupid to me. The fact that people have to pay so much money to live in New York is insane. The taxes are insane. You name it. Everything is higher, more expensive, and they gonna add other taxes onto the thing. It's crazy to me. So public opinion, while initially controversial, recent surveys indicated growing popular acceptance of the toll, which with reported decreases in traffic congestion boosting local economic activity. So some people probably like it. Even the dummy on the show said that she don't like it because it costs money. And I think they probably need to do something different. And the people are probably excited who don't want to blow their money on that stupid stuff. And Kathy Hochul is a nut anyway. I just want to throw that out there. So all this fuss is because of that and Trump saying long live the king. I got to figure out why Trump said long live the king, because I know it's a reference to something, but I didn't dig deep enough.